Yes, sir. You can start off your program, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can start, sir.
Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Ram Kumar. So I'm going to talk to you about my entrepreneurial journey. So if you really ask me what is entrepreneurship, let's start from there, right? Starting a business is not entrepreneurship. Like you can start a rice shop, you can set up a manufacturing facility for manufacturing automobile components. So that is also business, but that is not entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is where you try to solve a problem that has not been solved so far, or you are trying to address a pain point of a customer which has not been addressed properly so far. So entrepreneurship is not only relevant in a context of where you go and start your own company. Many people think it is all about starting your own company. It is not so. Entrepreneurship can also be relevant when you are working for a corporate. When you are working for, whether it's even a small company, medium-sized company, large company, you might be working as a salaried employee, but still your company might ask you to design a new product or launch a new division or get into a new line of business or take an existing product and sell it in a new market. So even when you are working for some other company, these entrepreneurship concepts are very, very critical, because what is that underlying thread that connects all entrepreneurship related skills and knowledge and expertise? It is the ability to go into uncharted waters, into a place where there is no road. Like it's you are going in search of a waterfall inside a forest and there is no road. So you have to figure out your own way, right? So whether you are doing it for yourself, whether you're doing it for your company, entrepreneurship is all about finding a new way, a new path where nobody has already gone so far. So that is the summary of what entrepreneurship is all about. So if you look at it from that point of view, I've been an entrepreneur all along my life. Like I had a very maverick spirit. In school days, when everybody was chasing around girls in teenage, I was writing poems and speeches with social issues. And in the summer of my school holidays, I used to work for a youth development organization, trying to prevent a school, not our school, but some other school was getting closed in our town. So we were trying to protect that school from getting closed down. So I was doing things which normally school kids don't do at that point in time. Similarly, everybody normally finishes their 10th. I got 85%. I could have easily gone to +1, +2, did my BSc, BCom. I'm talking about the 80s, right? There are not many engineering colleges at the time. But I chose to go to a polytechnic and do a 4-year course in electronics. And when it came for the time for campus interview, there was this option that I had. I was offered jobs by 2 companies. One was a TVS Group company, which was like 20 minutes from my house, great food, the salary was very good. And the other offer I got was from another company, which was much smaller. It was almost like a startup at the time. They were doing some exciting work in automation and process control. I'm talking about 1986, 87. And it was like 2 hours from my house, and the salary was like 50% lower. I chose the second company and not the first company. So all along my career, even when I used to work for a company, I was always been a person whom they used to call me for doing a new product or starting a new division or launching a new activity or new initiatives. So for 15 years, I've been doing that. Okay. So somewhere around 2000, we were actually trying to do a lot of work in electronics and automation at that time, and I was a lot of My expertise was more in electronics and marketing of electronic equipment and things like that. But I did something that nobody will ever imagine doing. I completely left my field and went and joined a very small startup, which was a franchisee, not even ICICI Bank. The franchisee of an ICICI Bank, trying to start a new business in selling all financial products in the Chennai market. So we, of course, ramped the company from 10 people to 150 people. We launched all the ICICI Bank retail financial products in Chennai at the time. It was a great learning experience, completely unrelated field, unrelated expertise, and I was a senior manager running the business. Okay. Then I went on to do something again totally different. I went and joined a HR services company, working in headhunting and senior executive research, doing some workshops and psychometric profiling and things like that. And that was about another 3-4 years. Then I started doing a lot of freelance consulting myself. I started doing some leadership development workshops. So you could clearly see that this becoming an entrepreneur was not an event in my life. It was, the thread has been there right from childhood. So when I got this idea of a music vending machine, that was in 2006, it was a revolutionary idea. No, at that time, not even 2G was new. No 3G, no 4G, it was only 2G. Even 2G was new at the time. People were having dial-up modems in their houses. And music was being sold in cassettes and some amount of CDs. So we decided to do me and another co-founder who was a techie, we joined hands together and we said that we will do a music vending machine, a wall-mounted touchscreen based. Imagine a touchscreen based system in 2006. It was not easy to even develop that hardware. So we decided to build a music vending machine, touchscreen based music vending machine, wall-mounted in 2006. We applied for Intel India business plan competition conducted by Intel India. We were selected as a finalist. We did not even win the first prize, but we got the confidence that because we were selected as a finalist to go and start the company, start hiring a couple of developers, and we started building the software and building the hardware. And that is the time when I joined TiE Chennai, which is a entrepreneurship development organization in Chennai, and they had a angel network. So at that point in time, I did not have a product. I just had a PowerPoint slide, PowerPoint presentation about what my idea is and how I want to sell that product to the market. And purely based on my PowerPoint presentation, because we have just started developing software, it was not ready, the product was not ready. We were able to raise money from some of the topmost angels, marquee investors in Chennai at the time. And we went ahead and built the product, built the platform, went and talked to a lot of very big music companies like Sony and Saregama and a lot of such big labels and convince them this new revolutionary idea of selling music through a music vending machine. And we got a license from them. We digitized all their songs and created a database of about 150,000 songs. We created databases in multiple languages, like we had a mirror database in Tamil, Kannada, Telugu, Malayalam. We developed a keyboard for searching in local language. All this was very pioneering in 2007, actually, because Google keyboard and all came much later. So it was a very successful, I would say, product launch. We achieved our objective of developing and launching a touchscreen based music vending machine, wall mounted with 1.5 lakh songs. But unfortunately, we, as a tech company, we did not have the right to decide on the price of the song. So we had to sell the song at the price that the music companies asked us to sell, which was 12 rupees per song. So we started there. We were successful as a tech company. We were successful as a product company, but we were not successful in terms of revenues, because our revenue model was only when we sell the music, we will get a commission on the music, right? So we go after sharing the royalty with the music companies. So from there on, we went through a lot of pivots. Like we realized that touchscreen based systems was not the right way to go because people were thinking that it is too difficult to stand before a system and search for songs in a database of 1.5 lakh songs. So then we shared a kiosk model where people could sit and search. We went into a dealership model where we appointed dealers across various locations in Tamil Nadu who bought our software, who bought our hard disk full of songs and installed it in their own computer, and where they helped customers to search the songs and download it in a pen drive or record it in a CD. And it was, customers were very happy, except that they felt the price of the song was very high. Then we argued and fought with the music industry as a whole. Slowly started reducing the price of the song from 12 rupees per song to 8 rupees per song to 4 rupees per song. And by 2010, we were fairly successful. We had a lot of dealers in Tamil Nadu who were selling. We probably would have sold 500,000 downloads of songs during the period. Still, we were not scaling fast enough because there were 50,000 shops in Tamil Nadu who were actually, what I would say, selling songs illegally, what is called as pirated songs. So we were trying to compete with them. They were selling it at 1 rupee per song. We were selling it at 4 rupees per song. So we totally underestimated the whole process of going to the market. We thought just having a product, having the songs is sufficient to be successful in a business. But it was not so. No, your go-to-market strategy was not right. Our channel strategy was not right. We were dependent on shops who were not willing to sell it at 4 rupees per song when they were already selling it 1 rupee per song and taking all the money home. They were not paying any royalty. So multiple trials. We even went and convinced the music industry to give us the flexibility to give the entire database of songs to the dealers at a fixed price of 2,500 rupees per month. Let them sell as many songs as they want. Let them sell it at whatever price they want. So our dealers also started selling at 1 rupee per song. They were only paying us a royalty of 2,500 rupees per month. In spite of all that, still, we thought out of 50,000 shops in Tamil Nadu, we will be able to convert 1,000 shops. We hardly were able to reach 100 shops. So because of the lack of scale, we did not have enough margins. We did not have enough viability in the business. And at some point in time, by the time 2012, 2011, I think, but 4 or 5 years, we have tried this. By 3G had already come, streaming had already come, and I think we realized that the music vending machine model itself is not going to be relevant in the next 5 or 10 years. And if only we had built a brand, we had built a customer base, we have built a network of 1,000 shops in Tamil Nadu, at least we would have raised a second round of funding, we would have grown big. We would have also gone into streaming with our own brand name and things like that. So there are a lot of options we had, a roadmap we had, but all that did not work out. So in a sense, we were partially successful. In a sense, we were a failure because we did not really understand that making a business viable and sustainable is not just about technology. It's not just about the product. There is a lot more to it. So that was a period of what I would call a naive entrepreneurship, where I burnt almost 120 lakhs of money over the 4 or 5 years trying to build and scale this business. A lot of learnings, a lot of experience in running a business on my own, from marketing and sales to technology to legal to commercial to dealer management. Beautiful experience. Even though it did not really take off the way we wanted, it was really a beautiful experience. Then what I started doing was, once you are an entrepreneur, you cannot really give up that way of doing things, right? So I decided not to go and work for another company anymore. So I started becoming a consultant. So it was again entrepreneurship in a different context. It was more of a services business. I was trying to offer my services to clients in the form of consulting. So I helped them in marketing. I helped startups in creating investor pitches. I helped them in what is now called as, at the time we did not have all this knowledge. There is something called as product market fitment, where you need to ensure that customers are willing to pay for your product. You have to ensure that your go-to-market strategy is correctly designed. You have to ensure that your channel strategy is well aligned. Otherwise, even though your product is really good, you may not be able to succeed. So I was using all my learning and experience as an entrepreneur in helping other smaller companies and startups and early stage companies as a paid consultant. Then I moved on to become more of a growth consultant, where some of the companies that I started helping them started growing, and I continued to work with them for 3-4 years and 5 years. And so they started using my services for helping them grow. So, and then I moved into branding, and I moved into why-driven marketing and purpose-driven branding and things like that. So that is another type of journey where it was not only that I was learning, like Mango DVM, that the music vending machine was a business where I learned it from my own business. Whereas over the next, I would say 6-7 years, I learned a lot from helping other startups and other smaller companies, and in multiple domains like manufacturing, BPO, software, design, FMCG, and so on and so forth. Then I also parallelly was looking at, this is only very important, no? When you want to become an entrepreneur, you have to take care of your family, you have to pay at least your basic living expenses. Of course, my wife was working, in a way it helped. But if you don't have some income, you can't be entirely wasting 4, 5, 6 years of your time in a business where you are not generating any income for yourself. So this consulting was helping me to run the family, and parallelly I started working on some other ideas. The second, my own entrepreneurship experience that I will talk about is what I would call as a low-cost entrepreneurship, where I did not hire people, I did not raise money, I did not spend too much. I really want to validate the idea and prove that it is really scalable before I really wanted to go further and raise money and things like that. So the idea was basically related to measuring a number of people who are watching a TV channel. So there was actually a requirement in the market for measuring what is normally known as TRP rating. So I created a company called True TRP to measure a number of people seeing a particular TV channel. So I developed a prototype for 5,000, 10,000 rupees. I developed a prototype. The nearest competition was selling it at 2 lakhs per piece. And I had a prototype which was only costing me some 5,000 rupees actually. So I went and demonstrated the prototype to a lot of investors, trying to raise money for that. And that is when I realized once again that having a product alone is not sufficient. You have to understand a lot of other intricacies. So we were again up against a competition which was entrenched, who had a deep pockets, a lot of money, even though their product was costlier. So none of the investors are willing to take a risk of supporting a startup in a market where the existing competition was really very strong and a lot of money backing is available. So then I had to pivot the idea into something else. So we developed an app. I went and partnered with another software company, created a joint venture, and we built a product for fan engagement. It was slightly a variation of audience measurement. So we did a fan engagement product where we could measure and engage with audiences through a mobile app while they are watching a TV program. It was everybody thought it was a very, very attractive idea, very interesting idea. Lot of TV channels. I went and spoke to a lot of TV channels. I used LinkedIn a lot to network with CEOs and CXOs and CTOs of people like Sun TV, Pudhiya Thalaimurai, ZTV, News 18, CNBC. So many different people. They were all interested by the idea. They asked me for a meeting. We had discussions, and we demonstrated our product. Again, 2 years I had spent marketing this product. There was a lot of interest in the market for the product that we had from the media industry. But what I realized at the end of the process, I only spent about 40,000, 50,000 on travel myself, and maybe 40, 50,000 in creating a company. The joint venture we had was a non-cash equity-based joint venture with a software company to build the product. So we really built the product and went to the market and started talking to people at a very low cost of about 80,000 rupees. But when after 2 years, we haven't got a single customer. That is when I realized that you might be having a product, you might be having a solution that solves their existing problem. They may be saying that, yes, it's a very interesting product. Yes, it's a very interesting solution. Yes, we have this problem. They may be saying all that, but they may not be actually buying. So that is what is called as whether your customer's pain point is urgent enough. Is there a compelling need for them to give priority for that and go forward immediately? Or in the order of priorities, it's a very nice to have product. Probably they will look at it. Maybe later, it's not very important. So if your product is in that space, even if your product is good, even if your customers are showing interest, you are wasting a lot of time talking to them. They give you meetings, you go and make presentations, but nothing really comes out of it. The real reason being that you are not addressing, you are addressing a pain point, you are addressing a problem, but it is not compelling enough. It is not a priority for them. And the TV industry itself is going through a different kind of a journey. They were all moving towards streaming and OTT. So for them, this was not a priority. No, we were offering a product to an industry which was going in the decline. And we weren't offering a product which for an industry that was going in the upstream. So these are some of the broader issues I learned in this very short period of 2 years. But the beauty of the whole learning process was that I was able to do it at a very low cost of 80,000. The first business I did, I burned 120 lakhs and learned a lot of things. Second business I did, I just burned 80,000 rupees and learned a lot of things. Now, with all these experience and knowledge, and with my consulting experience, again in 2019, I started another company. This company is still alive. We have paying customers. We are called as Milli Gold. Now, I will tell you how I started this business. Unlike other businesses where I started with a product idea, like music vending machine or audience measurement system or a fan engagement app, this time I decided that I will not start with an idea. I will not start with a product. Okay, I will start with the customer's problem or understand the customer's problem without even being biased about my product or my idea. So what I did was I went and did some Facebook-based surveys. I did some surveys, spent some 2,000, 3,000 rupees, did some surveys through Facebook, collected a lot of data from my target audience, which is middle-class customers, and asked them a lot of questions about what they think about savings, what are the various methods they are using for savings, why they prefer something or not prefer something, what are the difficulties they are facing in different types of saving products that they currently have, short-term, medium-term, long-term savings. So I did a lot of research, a lot of data collection. Then I arrived at some insights, which said that people really want, let's not even go into the product or the idea. So what I realized was that no matter what products we are going to launch in the future, that is immaterial. No, we may have one product, we may have 5 products, we may kill a product and start a new product. All that is incidental. No, let's not even bother about it. Let's not even talk too much about it. Let's talk about what is more important in entrepreneurship is defining who is your customer. So we are absolutely clear today that our customer is a middle class customer, more precisely defined as somebody who's earning anywhere between 25,000 rupees per month to 2 lakhs per month. He can be, initially we will focus on customers residing in metro cities. Later on, we will decide to focus on customers who are in Tier 2, Tier 3 towns. Initially, we will focus on salaried customers. Later on, we will focus on self-employed customers. Initially, we will focus on long-term savings. Then we will have a separate product for short-term savings. And we will then have a separate product for investment. Then we also understood the difference between what is the difference between investment and savings. A lot of people are already, competition is already there in mutual funds and insurance and investment. But except bank, savings bank account, or a recurring deposit account, there are no other products in the savings space, particularly for long-term savings space. So what we decided was that we understood the market space, we understood the competition, we understood the customers, we understood their pain point. And I also went through a 4-month course at Stanford. It's an online course by Stanford University called Stanford Seed Spark Program. It was a very powerful program, and it helped me a lot in fine-tuning our go-to-market strategy, our channel strategy, and things like that. And so today we have one product which is called Milli Gold, which is where you can save gold every month using, you can pay 2,000 rupees per month, 3,000 rupees per month and save gold every month. It's a very simple product from a technical point of view. Technology is just 10% of it. But the branding and the way we reach customers is very critical. We are also now working on another product called Milli Save, which is meant for short-term savings. We are working in collaboration with a couple of banks using neo banking or API banking interfaces so that we can make the whole saving process for middle-class customers a lot more easier than what it is today. And another thing that we also understood that as a startup, which is we just raised a seed round, we have already raised one round, we are looking for another round. So till we reach the second round or the third round of funding, we can't really spend too much money on what I would call branding or advertising. Even Facebook advertising, LinkedIn advertising costs a lot of money. Okay, just to get a customer, you have to spend 50 rupees to click on your advertisement. No, to get a lead, you have to spend 500,000 rupees. To convert a lead into a customer, per conversion, if you look at it, it will be maybe 2,000, 3,000 rupees. So we cannot afford to spend so much on B2C advertising and digital marketing for our business. So that is something that I learned from the Stanford Seed program, that initially you may go to a market segment which is easier to acquire, even though it may not be a very big market segment. Later on, when you raise second round, third round, you can always come back to the other segments which require more money. So today what we have decided is to focus on the B2B segment, where we go to corporates and tell them that here is the option for you to gift milligrams of gold to your employees for Diwali or birthday or for marriage or for baby birth. We also have retention schemes where they can contribute gold to their employees every month, which will come as a 10 grams or 20 grams at the end of 3 years or 4 years as a retention bonus for the employee. We have some loyalty programs for consumer supermarkets, again gifting golds in 1 milligram, 2 milligram, instead of giving them a cash discount. So we have created a lot of ancillary products, what I call B2B products. So this again shows you that it is not important what product you have, or you don't get stuck up with one idea or one product. You really start off from the purpose. The purpose of our company, the vision, is to promote savings. Okay? The purpose of the brand is to promote savings. Then you go to who's your customer. We will focus on middle class customers. Then you go into what are the immediate products that are required for that segment, and so on and so forth. Okay? So if you do it like this, one product may work, one product may not work, one product might have to be fine-tuned further, maybe you have to be modified subsequently. It doesn't matter at all, as long as your purpose is not going to change. So I can confidently say that I don't have to shut shop and say I am a failure forever, because being in the savings space, I can be there for 20 years also. Because savings is, everybody wants to do savings, right? So I can be in the savings space for 20 years also and figure out a way on figuring out what products and what ways and go-to-market strategies and what channel strategies will eventually work. And I can slowly, brick by brick, build my business, raise funds along the way, and make it successful without really having to change too much. Because the underlying, what I would call the campus is pointing you in a particular direction. That is, we want to promote savings from our middle-class customers. That is going to remain constant, no matter what kind of products and services that we are going to launch in the future. So that is my Milli Gold journey so far. And there are a lot of learnings there also, but as a lack of time, maybe Milli Gold itself is a separate story that we could talk for half an hour. MongoDB, I can talk for half an hour, and so on and so forth. So let me quickly come to the summary of what are the learnings that I could encapsulate for you in some 2 or 3 points, so that you could then use it in your entrepreneurial journey. Whether you are working for yourself, whether you're working for a large corporate they call it as an intrapreneur or entrepreneur in residence or entrepreneur inside a corporate, trying to do some new things and new products and new divisions for large corporates. Right? So it doesn't matter whether you're working for large corporate or whether you're doing it for yourself. There are 3 things that I want you to take away at the end of this talk. The first one is this, right? Always co-create your product with your customer, which means that you define your purpose first, you define your brand first, you define why you exist first, then you go and define who the customers are going to be first, and then go and spend a lot of time with those customers, researching them, talking to them, open-ended empathy interviews with them without any survey forms. Just have a half an hour open-ended conversation with your customers. Understand their world, understand their difficulties, what they say, what they don't say, and then try to co-create a product in collaboration with your customers. And then, most importantly, don't think that because you are a techie or because you don't have experience, you need to hire salespeople. Never ever an entrepreneur can succeed by hiring salespeople too early. So you have to sell your product yourself. If you don't sell your product yourself, if you are not willing to face the customer and understand why he is saying no, why he is saying maybe, why he is saying not now, maybe come later 6 months, why is he saying yes? Who is saying yes today? Who is saying yes after 3 months? So these are very important inputs for an entrepreneur to fine-tune his product, to fine-tune his go-to-market strategy. So sell it yourself, co-create a product along with the customer and sell it yourself is the most important lesson that I want you to take home, number one. Number two is that, see, change is inevitable. Okay, every time you go with an assumption to the market, your customers are behaving differently than what you expected. Please understand that it is a very painful process. It is painful because we are being proven wrong. If I go to the market with an assumption and I say something or do something and the data comes back which says that no, it is what I assumed is wrong. Whether the data is saying, the customer is saying, it is a painful experience. But if something is painful, there is an uncomfortable truth that you are facing, the best way is to accept that uncomfortable truth. Accept that pain, because pain is a messenger that announces the arrival of change. So if pain is there, either emotionally, you are seeing something, you are seeing experience, you are meeting a customer, or you are seeing some data and you are experiencing pain, you immediately know that it means that the market is asking you to change. The market is expecting you to slightly change direction or modify or fine tune. Be ready to accept that, because if you are not ready to accept that, if you are running away from the pain, you say, no, I am perseverance, I will definitely work harder and I will make it work, etc. You will be wasting a lot of time, a lot of money, and finally the market will once again prove it to you that you are wrong. So it's rather easier to accept every day that we are wrong and make corrections every day, rather than accept that we have been all along wrong for 3 years after spending so much money, right? So that is the second most important thing that I want you to understand. There is one more thing that I want to tell you, okay, which is the process of seeing the world. When we see the world, we think what we are seeing is true, but what we are seeing is not true. We always see the world through our past experience. Okay, so that past experience or past exposure or knowledge that we have is preventing us from seeing the world the way it actually is. So we always see through prisms. So one of the important learnings that I have had is, how do you see the prism through which you see? When you see the prism through which you see, you know that these are the assumptions that you are making. You are able to hang your assumptions in front of you, and you're able to go and test it and validate it, and then correct it, experience the pain, make changes, adapt, and grow. Okay. So broadly, these are the three things that I want to tell you as my net learnings over the last many years of entrepreneurial experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Just a second, sir.